All right, so a YouTuber that I listen to named Chris Sane, he asked the question this morning. Now, he let us know that May 5th, they're going to turn the payments back on for the student loans. You're going to have to start paying your student loans back. And he posed the question, do we think everyone should have to pay back their student loans? My answer is yes. Now, I'm going to explain myself. And at the end of this video, I'm also going to give you some tips of ways that you can get your student loans paid for. And as a bonus point at the end, I'm going to let you know how I was able to pause my student loans. Yes, by that, I did have student loans. I had a small amount of student loans, but I paid them off myself, and they were small by design. So the main reason I say that everyone should have to pay off their own student loans is there's no real way to make it equitable, right? It can never really be truly fair. Picture these scenarios I'm about to throw to you. You've got John Doe. John Doe grows up in a suburb. He's not good in school, but he decides he wants to go away to college and get away from his parents to have a real college experience. So he's in the suburbs of, say, Dallas, Texas, grows up, and he wants to go out to USC or somewhere far away so he can get that real college experience. Should he be able to do that? Yes. If he gets student loans to do that, great. But he goes away to college, goes to USC. Maybe he studies liberal arts. Maybe he dabbles in partying and does a little drugs to expand his mind or whatever. And maybe he drops out. Maybe he drops out after sophomore year. Then you might have Susan Snow, who grows up on the south side of Chicago. Maybe she had a harder life growing up. Maybe she decides, well, I should go to a community college. And she goes to a community college, lives at home, works part-time or maybe even full-time, lives at home with her parents. And then after she graduates from that 2-year community college, she might move on to an actual university that's in the area, local, where she can still live at home with her parents, pay her tuition, and use her student loans that way. That's a different look than the first one, right? What about the third guy? Jack. His parents were rich. Maybe he just took some student loans because he wanted some spending money, but they sent him to an Ivy League school. And he got a great job when he left that Ivy League school because he had the greatest connections from this great school that he was at. He's got student loans too. He's gonna have to pay those back. And what about Sally? She might be a medical student. So she had to go through all that stuff and study and get this great medical degree so she can make this giant salary. But along with that, she has a giant student loan bill. Should she have to pay it back? Yes. Going to college is a choice. It's a good choice if you're the right person for it. Because I used to think college was for everybody, and I understand now college is definitely not for everybody. It should be available for everybody, but some people have different things they want to do in life. Some people don't want to do things that require college. But my main point is the taxpayer should not be stuck with a bill because someone makes a decision that doesn't work with their life choice. You could have made college more affordable is what I'm saying, right? There are community colleges. There are technical colleges that might not be as expensive. There are state-funded colleges that if you stay in state might not be as expensive, right? So there are decisions you can make along the way to make it affordable. Now, I have heard people say that college is way more expensive, and it is. College is a business, so it has gotten more expensive. They saw an opportunity to raise their prices, and they did. However, there are still affordable options. Like I said, community colleges, state-funded colleges, you can still get scholarships. There's all these different ways to have your college paid for. Now, I got one more point about this, and it's going to sound hurtful, but it's not meant to be hurtful. It's meant to be eye-opening, right? Having your student loans forgiven will not change your life, right? The reason I say that, and what I mean by that is, and it sounds cold, but if you're making bad decisions with your money, having student loans repaid won't necessarily fix your bad decisions. The problem is your bad decisions, not the student loans. A few years ago when COVID hit, a lot of people, very many people in the US got their stimulus checks. That was a little influx of money. Maybe it was $2,000. I think over the year, 2 or 3 stimulus checks can be $4,000, maybe $5,000. It wasn't life-changing money if you didn't know what to do with it. If you knew what to do with it, it could be life-changing money, but a lot of people still don't know what to do with it. Like if you take that $5,000, turn it into $15,000 and give it to people and they don't know what to do with it, it's not going to change their life. You take that $15,000, turn it into $40,000 and give it to people. If they don't know what to do with it, it's not going to change their lives. Focusing on getting your student loans paid off for free by the taxpayer is not necessarily going to fix your life or your life decisions. The way to fix your life decisions is to figure out how to handle money. And I speak that from experience because I've made a lot of money in my life, but the bad decisions that I've made in my youth, I'm still paying those back now. Let's put it that way. So again, if you If you have student loans, you should be responsible for them. You should have to come up with a way to get them paid for. And once you get them paid for, you're fine. And I think that getting them paid for, finding out how to get them paid will actually improve your life in a way that just having them paid automatically will not improve your life. Here are a couple of ways I know that you can get your student loans paid for. One, you join the military. I know they have military loan repayment plans. So in the Army, when I was in the Army back in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, all the way up to 2012, there was a program where if you join the Army enlisted, you come in as an E4. Alexa, stop. You join the Army as an E4, they'll pay off your student loans. You don't get the GI Bill, but they will pay off your student loans. It'll take 4 years. They won't pay them off all at once. Or every year, they'll pay off a quarter of them. That program was there, so they would pay that off. If you work for the government, and I know the government right now, they do, it's a little rough with the environment that's going on, but I think this program still exists where you work for the government for a year, they'll start the process of working to get your loans paid off. It might be longer than a year. I'm not sure exactly how long it is. You have to do your own research on that. But the government, if you work for the government, will repay your student loans. At least they did for a minute. We'll check back on that. There are some corporations that will repay student loans. Let me see if I can Google one real quick. Employee. Okay. So right now, here are 15 companies that help pay off student loans. Abbott, Aetna, Alley Financial, Anderson, Brilliant, Chegg, CVP, Estee Lauder Company, Fidelity Investments, Google, Mass Mutual, New York Life Insurance Company, NVIDIA, RTX, and SoFi. Now, that's just 15. So if you really need to get your student loans paid off, try and work for companies like that. And I'm sure there are many other ones that will actually do that. If you're a quality employee, they will help pay off your student loans. Now, I did say as a bonus, I would let you know how I got my student loans paused. And I was able to do it for a very long time because my student loans at the most they ever were was $14,000. And it took me 25 years because I was able to constantly pause it. And the trick I used was I would go back to school. Even if you just take one course, they would pause your student loans. So if you've got a $300,000 student loan bill that you're paying or whatever it is, take a course at a community college, a 5-month course, get 5 months off on your student loan. Or you can even pay it during that time period and that'll make it go down faster. So things like that, there's little tricks in the system to get your student loans paid that you can actually use. Again, everybody needs to pay their own student loans. They tell you that when you get the student loans. They tell you no matter what, you're gonna have to pay it back. There's no getting out of it. You're gonna have to pay it back because it is a federal loan. Again, we all heard it when we got the student loans. We heard it when we took the student loans. Usually, I guess people nowadays, you have people that co-sign for you, that put their name on the line too. Just go ahead and pay back your student loans, all right? I didn't mean for this to sound cold, because I'm saying this is tough love. You know, I do care. I think that people need help in ways they need help in learning. They need help in understanding. That's one of the things that Coach Sane does. That's why I watch him. So if you're watching this video right now, hit him up. I'll put a link to his page in the description down below. He actually like motivates me to want to do my mentoring thing on YouTube and some of the stuff I want to do with my channel. So I appreciate you, Coach, if you're seeing this. And yeah, that's all I got. Looking forward to seeing you in the future, peoples.